Welcome back to another episode of Video City TV. I'm your host, Callie Ann, and today I'm sitting down with a true architect of beauty, someone who's redefining what it means to be a boss in both the beauty world and hip-hop culture. Miss JaQuitta Robinson, also known as the Brow Architect. Welcome onto the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
So they call you the Brow Architect. And what does that title mean to you personally? And how did you build that name in such a bold visual industry like hip hop?
So for me, it's underlining meaning is pretty much restoring confidence in women. So that's what it means to me. How I was able to build up this brand and then associate it with the hip hop culture. I initially started in the healthcare industry. I'm a cardiopulmonary practitioner as well. I've always loved working with people and I've always loved to help people. That's like my thing. My mom always used to say to me, like, you're always trying to help somebody. You give the shirt off your back to people. And that's just my nature. So I think that's how I ended up in healthcare to start.
Yeah.
So initially, before thinking of going into brows, I wanted to help women who had, after having a mastectomy, having to have their breasts removed. And basically what I was doing was a 3D areola tattoo. So it looks like a tattoo to boost that confidence because they've lost their breast, they have no nipple, and then we do a tattoo that resembles a nipple. Once I started doing the training for that, I realized that there's so much more to this cosmetic field, and it's not just the areola nipple, but it's also a big part of it is the eyebrows and scalp.
Wow.
And the women don't only do it just for medical reasons. They also do it for cosmetic reasons, whether it is just because they have no brows, thinning brows. They may, have plucked their brows when that 90s craze was in to pluck all your brows off and they just never grew back. For some, it's because of medical ailments, having chemotherapy and they lost their brow hairs. And it really makes a difference. People don't realize how much eyebrows stand out. It's one of the first things that people notice about you when they take a look at you. So when I started working with, regular women, moms, and just people who's like, I cannot be spending 15, 20 minutes in the morning trying to figure out how to draw my brows on, wipe them off, put it back on again, do it all over. And then when I started working with I'm a big hip hop head anyway, but my very first client within this community was Bianca, known as Young V, Chicken Noodle Soup. And she was my very first client in the industry who came to see me. I did her brows, I did her mom's brows. And then from there, word of mouth just completely takes off. So I have done her brows. I've done Gina Thompson, who's an R&B singer. I have done Terrell Hicks, who is also a singer, but she was in the movie Belly. She played Keisha in Belly, and Jane in A Bronx Tale. I have done Lisa Evers from Fox 5 News and Hot 97 Street Soldiers. And just recently, this past weekend, I did Salt's brows from Salt and Pepper.
Wow. Okay. So you are immersed into the hip hop world and culture.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, the hip hop world is driven by image and authenticity. So how do you balance trend setting with staying true to a client's individual style?
So a lot of people come in and they are looking at trends. That's one of the first things. They're like, oh, I want this. Everybody has the thick, dark brows, and this is what I want. This is what the trend is. And I really just have to sit down with them and explain to them that brows are timeless, but it has to fit your facial structure. No matter what how trends change, the structure of your face does not change. And you want it to always match the structure of your face. And no matter, we can always tweak the shape and the shade a little bit, but you want them to be as natural looking as possible, because once the trend sails, now you're stuck with something that you are like, how do I get it off? And these are something that are semi-permanent. They last 3 to 4 years. So I really have to sit down and speak to them. And once I talk to them and they understand, my expertise, and they really respect the advice that I give them, they're like, okay, I trust you. Let's go with what you recommend.
Yeah, yeah, eyebrows are very like personal and it could be very transformative to the face.
Absolutely.
How do you read someone's face to even create the perfect brow for them? I know there's so
Well,
much that comes into it, especially
I
with the
do. So I when I walk places, especially if I'm out like in the mall shopping or anything, I'm constantly looking at people's brows. I'm like, oh my gosh, she need her brows done, she need her brows done, she need her brows done. But one of the things is that when and I can do it like in an instant second, but your brows are supposed to begin, they are supposed to be in line with the bridge of your nose. So we want to make sure that the bridge of your nose is where your brow actually begins. And then for your tail of your brow, we want to make sure it's diagonal from the tip of your nose right past the corner of your eye, and that's where your tail should be. And then your arch should be right outside the iris of your eye. So right outside and then straight up. So we actually mark those points when you come into the salon. Once we mark the points,
yeah.
the width of the brow, we actually are feeling your brow bone to see how thick your brow should be. Then I go ahead and I draw the brow on, and then you're going to get the actual natural brow you're supposed to have.
Wow, that is so interesting.
Thank you.
Um, what is a brow myth or trend that you wish would disappear? And what's something people overlook when it comes to their brows?
What are people asking that again?
What is something that people overlook when it comes to their
Comes to
brows?
their brows. I think that people overlook the color constantly. They feel like they have to have this bold, dark, black brow,
Mm,
and it just looks like a marker on their face, and it just does not look good. That's one.
yeah.
The other, what was the other thing you asked before that?
What's a brow myth
A
or
myth.
trend that you
Um,
wish would disappear?
a myth is that a lot of people think if they get their brows done, that I shave their brows off. Or any brow artist, they're like, if you get your brows done, you have to shave your brows off. No, that's not true at all. No
Oh,
truth. No truth to it at all.
oh man, you had me like checking mine to see if mine like even. Oh wow, that's really cool. So, how do you feel the beauty industry has evolved to keep up with the hip hop culture and vice versa?
The beauty industry has absolutely evolved, keeping up with the culture. We see people in the music and the hip hop culture are really big on fashion, and fashion and beauty absolutely goes together. So when you see these changes in growth in the industry, when you see the fashion and what women are wearing now, women and men are wearing now, it really does go hand in hand in with the beauty industry, because when people are stepping out, they're not just concerned about what their outfit looks like or what they have on for the day. They want to make sure that the aesthetic that they're wearing physically matches the aesthetic of their face.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we love that. So we're not just shaping brows. You're shaping
Mm-hmm.
confidence, style, and even
Absolutely.
this whole journey of yours. What's one client story that stayed with you?
One of the client stories that stayed with me, I have to say, I had a client who had been diagnosed with breast cancer,
Hmm.
and she lost all her brow hairs. She didn't lose her hair from chemo, but she lost all her brow hairs. She lost all her lashes, and she had not shared with her family that she had went through this struggle. She actually went through chemo and everything, not telling anyone other than her spouse that this is something that she had experienced. So when she came into the salon to get her brows done, we shaped her brows out. We made it look very natural. You could see the huge transformation from what she was penciling on to then what I created for her. And it just was a very emotional moment, because she didn't tell me the story until I actually finished her brows. And then she just broke down and she was crying, and she was like, you don't understand what you've done for me. She's like, I really, she felt like the minute she would step outside, people were staring at her. That was the first thing people noticed about her. And it really, really, really lowered her self-esteem. And I was able to restore that and bring that back for her. And we keep in touch till this day, just that I was able to do that for her. And it was something that she thought she was going to struggle with forever, because they told her your brows may grow back, they may not. And they hadn't. And I was able to give her those brows that she wakes up every day, and she always sends me pictures or posts and tag me, and she's like, my girl Pretty in Pink, she is the brow queen, she is the brow god. So that is a story that has absolutely stuck with me, because to know that somebody went through that struggle, they didn't share it with anyone, but felt the comfort to share it with me.
Yeah, yeah, it's very personal getting up close to someone's face like that. How could you miss
Yes.
the conversation? And I feel like the person like becomes almost like your therapist. So
Oh, yes,
yeah,
absolutely. We have therapy sessions in the brow studio all the time. What's said in the brow studio stays in the brow studio. You
yeah.
can vent, you can cry. We have session. It is girl time session.
I love that. Pretty in Pink. So where did you come up with that name, and why that name?
So pink is my absolute favorite color. And I came up with the name. I knew it was going to have to be something with pink. But one of my favorite movies from many moons ago was with Molly Ringwald, was called Pretty in Pink. And she was a girl who lived on like the other side of the tracks. She wasn't, very well off, and she had a single dad, and he struggled to take care of her. And then she started dating this guy who was a rich guy, and they felt that she wasn't good enough for him because she wasn't wealthy. And I always loved that movie because I grew up in public housing, and I went through rough times, and I was like, I evolved and persevered through all of that to become successful. So that name just was with that, and then the pink, and me loving pink, and the fact that I live in a house with people who hate the color. They was like, it reminds them of Pepto-Bismol. I could not do anything in my bedroom pink. My fiance was like, nope, we're not doing it. So I was like, I'm going to create my own little pink space, and it's going to be mine. So when I decided to have my business, it was definitely going to be called Pretty in Pink. And it fits me.
That, yeah. Make sure you guys check that out. So, Miss JaQuitta Robinson, if you could create a signature brow look inspired by a hip hop icon, past or present, who would it be and what would it look like?
Signature brow look.
Yeah,
I would give a signature brow look.
male or female, it doesn't even matter.
I'm thinking.
Keep that tune up.
You know what? I'm going to say I would do a signature brow look for Cardi B. And I'm going to tell you why. I saw her do an interview, and she told me that her natural brow hairs grow down, like the hairs come down like this. So she said that she shaves her brows off and she draws them on so that she can lift her brow up. And there's a lot of people who struggle with that because it makes you look sad. So that type of brow look actually makes you look like you literally had an instant facelift. So I would definitely do a Cardi B signature brow look.
Wow, I love that.
Thank you.
So, where do you see the future of beauty and hip hop heading, and how do you plan to keep leading the way? We know there's going to be so many changes from like the thin brows to the thick brows. Like, what do you think
Absolutely.
next? Do you think we're going back in time again since everything kind of like repeats itself with the outfits and stuff?
Yes, and everything absolutely does repeat itself. I do think that it is going to go a little bit back in time because, like you said, everything does repeat itself. But I will tell you that I think women have learned their lesson in hip hop because we was all plucking our brows. We all wanted those thin, skinny brows that every girl had on all the music videos. We wanted those brows. So I think the lesson learned is we're not going to pluck them. We're not going to pluck them or shave them. We're going to go to Pretty in Pink, and we're going to get our brows done if we want that look.
So, my final and last question is, if there's one message you want every woman to take away from your work, whether she's in the chair or watching your journey, what would that be?
My message would be that anything that you set your mind to, you can do it. And you are never too old to set a new goal or dream a new dream. that is definitely my message to women for sure.
I love that. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
about where they can find you. Where should they go in New York, or where,
Okay.
how can they?
So I am, you can, for one, I'm a 50, exactly 50-minute drive north of New York City. So I'm in New York, 50 minutes north. I'm in New Windsor, New York. I do also offer travel services anywhere within the tri-state area. That drive doesn't mean anything, ladies, because I have clients who fly from Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida. If you know that you want really good service, it's best to invest and be willing to take the trip. That's important. You can follow me on Instagram, Pretty in Pink Brows. Definitely follow me on Instagram. You can see all my work there. You're able to go right to my booking site. You can Google me and you will see all my Google reviews. I am top rated on Google when it comes to brows. So search me up on Google and you'll be able to read all client reviews.
Oh yeah, you know when people find the one, it's the one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like, quick question. I know you have to redo it every like couple of months. Does it hurt? And I guess this is another off question, but do you do yours yourself too?
Okay. Okay. So to answer that first part, it's when you get it done, it's your initial session, and then we do a perfecting session, which is a touch-up session 4 to 6 weeks later. After that, every year you'll come for a color boost. So you only got to come like once a year to kind of boost the color. Two, it does not hurt. It feels like, if you took your nails and you scratch, it feels like a little scratching sensation at first. I use the top of the line premium numbing gel. So once I put that numbing gel on you, you do not feel anything. People fall asleep in the chair. And to answer the question about my brows, when I initially got them done, I did not do them myself, but now I am able to touch them up myself. I do my touch-ups myself.
Yeah, then it looks so good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being a part of the show. It was
Thank you for having me.
you and speaking with you. Your work is amazing. Video City, make sure you check out Pretty in Pink Brows on Instagram. And any last shout outs before we end our
Yes, I want to give a shout out to my publicist, Money Lynn. She is absolutely amazing. I want to give a shout out to my fiance, LA, and to my kids. They are thebomb.com. They are my support system. And to all my clients who have supported my business, I truly, truly appreciate you. And the greatest thank you I can ever receive is a referral.
Yes, I love that. Video City TV, tap in.
All right, what is going on, Video City? It is your girl, Niara J, and we are here with the one, the only, Philadelphia's own, Nazzy the Mic. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time to sit with us. I know we canceled, but you guys accommodated and allowed me to come through, so I really appreciate that. So, you are an artist. Yes. You are a music artist. Let's get into that. Who are you, for those who don't know?
I am Nazzy the Mic. Most of my music is based off of how I feel, so it's more of like pain and lovey-dovey because I'm a simp.
Okay. So, for those who don't know you, how did you get into music? Let's talk about your journey. Let's talk about it all.
Well, I grew up around music a lot. Like a lot of my family members, singers, dancers, songwriters, beat makers, and then on top of that, I just wanted to get into that. I kind of had like my own influences outside of family. So like P&B Rock coming up at a younger age, he was one of my influences. I listened to Chris Brown coming up a lot because he was like the new R&B hip hop for our age group, like the early 2000s. So that's when I started doing music. I made my first song at like 8 or 9, and ever since then I just been going.
Wow, so you've been doing this for a minute then.
A little minute, quite some time.
That is what's up. So you are a pro. I love it. And you are from Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Philly has a lot of greats. It's a lot of greats out there. A lot of greatness has come from Philly. So how would you say your environment or where you're from has impacted your music?
Well, coming up from Philly, unless you're from Philly, you don't know. Like the city of brotherly love is a beautiful city, but the inside is not so beautiful. Like it's a lot of pain, hardship. It's a lot of trials and tribulations coming up where I'm from. Like a lot of violence, a lot of drugs and guns and stuff like that. So my everyday life was based on like a GTA scene, pretty much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, a lot of chaos going
A lot
on.
of chaos.
Yeah.
So you feel like that kind of reflects in your music.
I talk about that a lot. Like a lot of my growing up experiences is like losing close friends and family members and just like going outside just a block away, you hearing gunshots, crack of dawn. It's just crazy work. So, yeah, that's where I grew up in the era.
It could definitely be tough in those environments, but the fact that you put it in your music and you turn it into something positive, that's always a.
I never let it break me down. I kind of like, I guess it kind of inspires me to do better, make more music, because this is not where I want to be forever.
Exactly. And this is, as long as you keep pushing, you will elevate and keep elevating and keep elevating. So that's always good. So let's talk about your single, Boom Bap. I feel like it has such a classic sound. It's not the typical sound that's out right now. So why was it important for you to kind of hone in on that sound? Or was that, did you do that purposely?
I did actually because it was actually my manager who kind of like irritated me. Sometimes he has his like way of he don't doubt me, but he'll like make it seem like he'll get under my skin and make it seem like, oh, I bet you can't do this, you can't do that. And he know I can do it, so I'm petty, I'm a Scorpio, so it was just in my nature like, okay, you don't think I can make this genre?
I'm gonna show you.
Boom, and that's how Boom Bap came about. And it's kind of like a crazy mix because like the nature of Boom Bap itself is more like a early 2000s, like something you were hearing like the 80s or 90s hip hop, like the super baggy t-shirts and the capris that come to like right here. So yeah, and I just kind of added like a new school touch to it.
And I love that. I feel like a lot of the artists now, they're sampling a lot of the older beats, but I feel like for you it was a sound, like I feel like you didn't really sample a beat. It was just like the what do they call it, like when you have like a feel like nostalgic, like it has like that nostalgia feeling.
Yeah, a lot of artists nowadays, don't get me wrong, some of the songs that they do sample from like the old beats, some of them are good, and then some of them is just like, nah, like leave it to the old school folks.
They could have left it there.
No, for real, because now you just turned a classic into something that I'll probably never want to listen to ever again.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. So speaking of that, speaking of sounds, I feel like we are in an era of people definitely trying to hop on different ways. I know you touched on, your management's inspiration when it came to that song and like having that classical feel. But I do want to touch on that a little bit more. How do you kind of set yourself apart in a generation where everyone's trying to be the same?
Well, me personally, I think like I have an old soul myself. Like I don't listen to none of the new school rap, none of the new school hip hop, none of the new school R&B. Like I don't even listen to like none of the new school artists. I have nothing against them. Don't get me wrong. All of them are creative and fantastic in their own way, but my style is more of the MC Lights and the Eves and the people like her. I don't want to listen to these new genre of rappers per se, because all they talk about is one specific topic and it's not necessarily something I can relate to. Like I like to make music that people can relate to because I listen to music I can relate to. So if I make the music and you can't relate to it, it's kind of like I'm letting both of us down, because what am I talking about and why don't you get where I'm coming from?
Right, and that's important to have that substance and to have a purpose as to why you're doing something. So definitely stay like that, because it's definitely going to get you even further than you are right now. So what do you have coming up? What can the people look forward to? Let's talk about it.
What do I have coming up? have a show on Monday in DC. Small, but it's big. I have a project I'm working on. It's called 20. I'm not giving y'all the release date. Just know it's coming soon. And I will be dropping a summer anthem. All the ladies and the gentlemen, but mainly for the ladies, gonna love this. So y'all can expect a lot more from Nazzy the Mic. This ain't the last time y'all gonna hear from me, I promise.
Yes, and we are excited. Make sure y'all stay tuned for everything Nazzy the Mic has coming up. She has a show. She has some new music that she's dropping for the ladies. So
Merchandise.
And the merch. Let's talk
Get
about
up on the
that.
tees.
Let's talk about that.
This our sample.
Let's
We about
talk
to.
about that.
It came out right actually. This is supposed to be the city of brotherly love, and me and my crew members just. This is one of our.
Did you draw that?
Yeah.
Oh wow! And we got. Listen, you are a jack of many traits. Love it.
Of my graphic design.
That is nice.
But yeah.
Love it. Listen, y'all better get in tune. The merch, the music, everything coming up. Where can the people contact you if they wanted to get in contact, if they wanted to collab, if they wanted to purchase the merch?
Nazzy the Mic.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. NAZZYTHEMIC. Pandora, Twitch, freaking, yes, anything, like whatever you can think of. I can't even think of. There's so many platforms I'm on, I forget them all.
Everywhere. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube.
Yeah, just send an email, send a text, shoot a DM, whatever. I'm here.
Nazzy the Mic, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And make sure y'all get in tune, okay? Make sure y'all get in tune.
My t-shirts too. The merch, get up on that.
And there you have it. Thank you so much.
Yes, I'm back again, ready to tell them what's happening. They gon' ride this wave, take this cruise. Wake up, play snooze, baby, I can't lose. And I'm on the move, something like a cow. Move, screw you, do what I want to. You could say that you're the topic, you're a typical dude. Do you hear my stomach growling? I don't mean to be rude. If I take your plate, eat some. Niggas swear they like that, I could show you how to take a life to see some. Bring the score down and decrease some. Tap his head, open up his brains, I'm trying to see some. No, this not a love song, and it's not a drill rap. It's that Nazzy, when am I gonna catch you on some boom back? Nigga tried to run up on me, all you heard was boom back. Sipping Drake that make me wanna tee off, bro, I'm about to snap. I been in that all black, and the scat and the shit packed. Yeah, there's only 4 of us, we ride around with 7 gats. Every time that Nazzy do a drill, she cover up her tats. Brody came home, it only been 2 weeks and got a hat. Got me on my shit again, fuck around and shit again. If they make me mad enough, I mess around and spin again. I subtract the dividends, the work coming from Michigan. And I ran this beat the whole time, like was you listening? Trying to keep track of me, gon' be running the marathon. Yeah, you could spit, but your saliva don't compare to mine. Only who I ferilize, and I'm rocking Farragut essential. That went over your head, it skipped your mental. I could pack a punch that clear the teeth out like a dental. They be like, why Nazzy always rapping like the rent dude? It's that triple R, real rugged raw. I'm tired of rapping gentle. If I take your lady, it's nothing against you. Cause, yes, I'm back again, ready to tell them what's happening. They gon' ride this wave, take this cruise.